This one I'm curious about get your answer because I know how much you love Toni Kroos, and I remember. Yeah. So Ali Lakhani says, "Who do you rank higher all time, Kroos or Modric, and why?"
I think I talked about this a week ago, and I rank higher Kroos, but it's down to personal taste. I think it's just they're so close in terms of their legacy. I realize that Modric has won a Ballon d'Or, but he probably, Kroos probably didn't get the recognition he deserved for Germany's success, just because of the fact that Germany are definitely a better team than Croatia, and Modric obviously reached the final with Croatia pretty much by himself, with obviously quality players like Kovacic, Mandzukic, and Rakitic playing, but we all know that Croatia weren't as strong as Germany during the strong years for Germany. So ultimately, I think it's down to personal taste, personal preference, and I just enjoy watching Kroos more than I do Modric, and it's just a matter of personal taste, because I think that they're both insanely close in terms of their legacy and their qualities and skill set as a player. Obviously, they're two very different players. They're too brilliant, and both of them are brilliant, and I think that ultimately it's down to personal taste.
Well, now that we're talking about it, I feel like we've had this conversation before. It sounds familiar to me, but
we talked about this when you came to Valencia.
That for sure.
In the restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And that's when I discovered how much you love Toni Kroos. I think, to me, like Modric's Ballon d'Or season is huge for his legacy, not necessarily just because he won the Ballon d'Or, but because that year in particular was also the year that he was so instrumental in not only Real Madrid's success in the Champions League, but also just the resume of having taken Croatia that far in the World Cup almost single-handedly. Not quite single-handedly, but it was far and away their best player, and he carried them. And at that age, and also this leads into another part of his kind of player profile, is that the way he did it was that he was doing basically everything, and that's who he was as a player. So that's part of the reason I give Modric to Kroos the edge over Kroos, is because he's so much more, I guess, versatile, and that in itself doesn't give you extra points, but because he played in Real Madrid's midfield in a time where they desperately needed him basically to do everything from defense to offense to control to pressing to covering to even scoring on some occasions and providing key assists. Kroos is unbelievable. You know how much I love Kroos, but I give Modric a slight edge just because of that. And I do ultimately agree with you that it is a subjective experience. Like, some of these all-time things are just subjective. Some of them are objective, but this one I think is a little bit subjective. But I give Modric the edge for the reasons I just mentioned.
That's fair. Those are fair points. It's just a matter of that. I truly believe that they deserve to be in the same conversation.